Let us open. Let us feel our collective and individual commitment to living life differently, living life the way we want to live it, being the people we think we can be, being the people we hope we can be. Let us dedicate ourselves to that and trust that what we do today and in the coming days will lead us step by step, inevitably, towards that goal, so that together we can co-create the world that we want to have be. I'd like to take this opportunity to orient you to Consciousness Boot Camp. Many of us have been on a spiritual path or a path of self-discovery or learning for a long time. Depending on our age, it could be a very long time. And some of us are fairly new to this pursuit. But regardless of whether we're fairly new or we've been trudging for many years, there's always the possibility of accelerating and deepening our process. These days, many people are feeling, as has been predicted by various cultures, that there is a quickening in the transformational evolutionary process. And it certainly feels that way to us. We feel a lot of energies coming from the universe, and some people don't believe in those energies. Nevertheless, whether you believe in them or not, here they are. We can feel, those of us who are tuned into them can feel them in our bodies. At the same time, others of us are seeing changes in ourselves and others that we find quite extraordinary and happy. We see synchronicities occurring that we hadn't seen before. All of these things are indicators that there's something changing. At the same time, there is a sludge, a kind of forever undertow that we also feel that pulls us down and pulls us back. And that's what Consciousness Boot Camp is geared to helping overcome. Not just the individual undertow that each one of us experiences in ourselves, but also the collective undertow that we are all having to deal with. Whether you are in Afghanistan, or you are in China, you are in Bolivia, if you are in San Diego, you are part of a universal consciousness that is in the process of evolution. And it seems, on the one hand, that we wouldn't have to do anything because it's already something that is in destiny. It's all predicted and so on. And so what do I need to do anything for? It's already happening, if it is. And yet, ironically, there is a paradox here, which is that part of that destiny is that we will become conscious co-creators of this transformational evolutionary moment. And that is our job. We will not be fulfilled as individuals or as a collective if we don't take this on. Those of us who have been working for a long time on ourselves may say, why do I need Consciousness Boot Camp? I'm already doing 10 other things, or I've done 100 other things. And maybe you don't need Consciousness Boot Camp, but maybe you do. Because what this is, and I'm asking you to consider it, is boot camp. And some of you have done this kind of work before, but many of us have not done an absolutely dedicated, focused program to transform ourselves on every level simultaneously in a finite period of time. Now, I can hear myself and others saying, yes, but I this and I that, and that's fine. And if it's enough, it's go ahead, continue what you're doing or don't do anything else. But if there's something in you that says, you're right, there's something that's been lacking in my progress, then consider whether or not boot camp is right for you. Perhaps you've been missing some of the tools that boot camp can offer. We have so many tools. We are covering such a spectrum of human behavior. We are talking about the way we think and our paradigms. We are talking about our inner unconscious blocks, which are held from traumas in our past. And we have healing processes to move through those, not only as individually, but even more important, as collectives. We have tools and teachings that you can bring out in your work with others that will help you to become a change agent in our world. We have Life Force, which is a program that helps integrate on a body, mind, spirit level all the teachings, because it is a body, mind, spirit exercise program. We have suggestions about food. And most important, we have a sense of collective dedication. What I would like to suggest is that for many of us who have been participants or consumers of many healing modalities, that we become students of consciousness itself. I would like to invite you to consider yourself not as a client, not even as a participant. I invite you to think of yourself, and as I will do with myself, as a student of God, a student of the source, a student of the evolving consciousness, which will be teaching us step by step what we need to learn in order to become the co-creators of this transformational moment. You are not my student. You are the student of consciousness. Take that in for a moment and try that on for size. What would consciousness, higher consciousness, have me learn, have me do? And am I willing to do it? What does it take to make that kind of commitment and make it stick? It takes discipline. It means we choose to do the work when we want to do something else. It means that we choose to confront our ego-based ways of thinking and being when we want to indulge ourselves, or when our egos tell us that that is our preference. It means that we don't say, I am doing too much, and I have done too much, and this is too much. It means we say, bring it on. What am I supposed to do now? If you become a student of Consciousness Boot Camp, which is the first-year training program of the Healing and Higher Consciousness Center, you will have requirements. That thought crossed my mind just this morning. If you are watching this segment, you are required to also watch Ego, Instinct, and Evolution, Parts 1 and Parts 2, to be in Consciousness Boot Camp. Each one of those videos is over 2 hours. Wah, wah, wah. Those videos are free. We have them uploaded. They are the first introduction to Consciousness Boot Camp. They are part of the curriculum. And you have to do them. If you're going to go on to the next segment, which is on Part 1 of Living with Reality, which is about the state of human consciousness. Now, why are they required? Well, because you need to know how to, you need to know the alphabet before you can read. It's very simple. Every module is a preparation for the module that comes afterwards. How many many times have you found yourself in a group setting like this, where we're talking about something and you say, what are we talking about? Now, if you're saying, what are we talking about, someone else has to tell you what we're talking about. They are taking up their time and energy to tell you what you should know because you've paid attention. Now, if you have trouble following it, that's completely different. You read it, you study it, you try your best, and you don't get it, then you ask for support. That's different from, oh, well, I was daydreaming, or I didn't have time to watch that video, or I watched it, but I was doing the dishes, and I couldn't hear all of the words because the water was running. It's school, guys. You go to class, this is a lecture. You have to listen to the teacher even if they bore the shit out of you. And you take notes. And one of the reasons that I'm going to be doing these lectures about the book is that even though you will be reading the book because it is required, no matter how long this book is, but because many of us need to hear the same thing in different forms. We need to read, we need to hear. I personally get nothing out of reading, even though I'm a writer. It's very funny. I don't learn very well from reading. I learn much better from hearing. I always found that when I was in school, I could absorb much more that was said to me. We have different ways of learning, but if I hear and if I listen, and even more if I write, all three, I might just absorb it. And it's even better if I tell someone else about it. I love that. When I was a little girl, I would come home from school, and my mother would say, "What did you learn in school today?" That poor woman. This is until she had to go out to work when I was quite young, and I lost that opportunity. It's probably why I became much more retarded in my growth. Because when I was young, I had a mother who actually asked me that question. And believe it or not, I went home and I told her everything I could remember that I had learned in school. You know, geography, history, things that I thought she would find fascinating. Of course, I'm in the second grade. And she always acted fascinated, as though this was the first time that she ever heard that Washington, D.C. was the capital of our nation. God bless that woman. Do it. Read. Listen to these videos. Watch. And talk about it. Tell other people what you're learning. It doesn't matter whether they look at you like you're an idiot or they are, you know, secretly falling asleep. Try to find somebody who's a hostage to you emotionally and say, would you please listen to me? And take the pages and review them. Write about it. Get it. We are in boot camp. We are expected to learn now. This is not go at your own pace. This is consciousness is speeding up, and so must we. And we can. I have complete faith because we have those divine energies coming through that I am claiming are here, whether you believe it or not. And I think we're feeling it. Let's try in this moment to feel that we are being supported by divine energies. And I'm going to ask James to do a guided meditation to help us to become in an even more relaxed place, so that as I continue, you will be even more able to absorb what it is that I'm saying.
Very good. Okay. I'd like everybody to please relax wherever you are. And first be aware of any tensions or stresses you might be experiencing within yourself. I'd like you to clench your hands into fists, extend your arms straight out from your body, tense up the muscles of the arms and the fists. Make a face, squeeze the eyes tight shut, tense up the abdomen, tense up every muscle in the body. Feel the tension, hold the tension, intensify it. Drop the arms and relax. Dropping down, down, down. Feeling so much more relaxed than before. allowing your breathing to become very long, slow, and deep. And on the next exhalation, I'd like you to simply to make the ah sound of satisfaction. Allow yourself to be completely satisfied in this second, in this moment. On the next exhalation, take a deep breath. That's it. Feeling so relaxed. And let that relaxing feeling spread down through the body and out the feet. And with each successive exhalation, imagine continuing to send a relaxing wave of energy through the body and out the feet. Relaxing away all tensions, washing away all cares. Feeling so wonderfully peaceful and relaxed. And the deeper you relax, the better you feel. The better you feel, the deeper you are relaxing. Now, wherever you are sitting, please turn your palms of your hands upward in a posture to be open to receiving the beneficial energies of Source. And imagine connecting with the highest that you can conceive of, God, the Source, the Infinite, whatever that might be for you. Allow yourself to be open to receiving beneficial energies from that highest Source that you can conceive of. Now imagine that energy coming down through the top of your head, into your head, and into your entire body, into your entire energy field. Some call this chi energy, life force energy. Allow your body to be filled up with this deeply peaceful energy of life force. Experiencing a deepening sense of well-being. Feeling better and better, feeling more and more deeply at peace within yourself. Feeling connected with yourself. Feeling connected with the life force. Feeling connected with Source, and feeling connected with the universe. Being open to receiving and transmitting during this time and the times to come.
Now, while you're in this deeply relaxed state, I'd like you to travel back in time and see yourself in school. And see just what kind of a student you were and how you felt then. For some of us, it was a time of great shame because we had some kind of learning disability that perhaps was even not diagnosed. Perhaps we suffered from some emotional disability, such as extreme anxiety, that made it difficult for us to absorb. For some of us, it was just the old ego competition. We felt that we needed to prove ourselves, so we were jumping up and down, raising our hands constantly to prove how smart we were. I would be that one. Perhaps we felt pressure from our families to do well in school. Perhaps we knew we were from poor families, as I was, that if I didn't do well in school, that I would have no future, except for a very harsh reality of poverty. Perhaps we were shy or socially defective, as I would put it, as I was, could not relate. and felt the pain of sitting in a classroom surrounded by people who were friends with one another but not with me. Just allow yourself to see what scenario. Perhaps you were in a school where you had a sister or brother who had come before you, that everyone said, oh, wow, your sister was so smart, or your brother was brilliant, or are you the brother of that juvenile delinquent? Think of all the things that you carried into that classroom that made you feel negatively, that created stress, that made it harder for you to even begin to absorb the learning. Not to speak of teachers who may themselves have been unhappy or bored or not connected to what they were teaching, who may have lacked the skills to help you with your particular problems. You may have been in a school where there was harsh discipline and you were afraid to make a mistake. Perhaps you were in a school where there was violence, and instead of worrying about class, you were worrying about getting beaten or shot. All of these are realities. Perhaps you come from a poor community where there were hardly any schools at all. Perhaps you were studying in a language that wasn't your native tongue. Perhaps you were afraid that your family was going to be deported, and it was hard for you to focus. All of these experiences we bring into this moment, and we may not even be aware that that is the case. So let us have compassion for our difficulties in paying attention, in studying. But let's not let them be our excuses. Let us not let them determine our future. Whatever it is that you can see for yourself in that moment, see what other choice you can make. What choice you can make to be different. That if you felt socially inept, as I did, for example, that you can look at the kids around you and smile with love and compassion towards them instead of sitting there feeling rejected. If you feel the power of the expectations of your family on you, that you need to do well in order to satisfy their egos or to grow up and make enough money to save an entire family or send home to a village in another country, take a breath and say, I am here to learn, not to satisfy the expectations of everyone around me. I am here to become myself. If you feel fear of making a fool of yourself in public, say, only by letting people see my foolishness will I be able to be helped. If I cannot read, I will tell everyone until someone hears me. If I am anxiety-ridden, I can go to the teacher and say, I want to learn. I just don't know what to do. Is there any help for me? Anything that's different from what we did then. Bring that into the present moment. See yourself doing something different. if you were the competitive child, see yourself rooting for the kids who are struggling. Offer to tutor them. If you were intimidated by someone who seemed really smart, go to them and ask them if they will help you. See yourself changing and transforming in this moment in your relationship to learning. And see the classroom as a global community of humanity that is asking to learn another way because we need it. And that we are here to support one another because we need one another to learn. Because this is not a competition for the one engineering job in the village. This is a collective need to change collectively so that we can co-create a different world. No child can be left behind, no adult either, because we all need to change for our world to change. So let us not compete with one another, and let's not feel shame about our own difficulties, because those who are near us want us to learn, want us to heal. And if you don't see that in your immediate environment, I am so sorry. Please connect to us or to others who do have in mind your highest good. Have faith that that exists. And join us in this giant global classroom where we are all learning to become ourselves. Now think of the Living the Reality book. And it's long. Everybody says it when they look at it. Oh my God, this book is long. Think of it now as a fountain that is endless, and that you're thirsty. And now it doesn't feel intimidating, it feels supportive and enriching. Oh my God, there's so much in this book to help us. There are so many teachings, paradigms, tools, techniques. This is a resource for us that has come from higher consciousness. And it just keeps giving. Every time you open this book, you will find that it speaks to you. And instead of being intimidated by it, be grateful for it. This is for you. Not to challenge you, but to nurture you. The same thing with our videos. Every time you turn this video on, think of, if I'm giving a lecture, for instance, think of me as a very benevolent parent who wants you to be as well as you can be, and who's on your side, trying her best to transmit whatever wisdom she can for your benefit, and take it in like someone feeding you a delicious meal because they love you. And in addition to the 2 lectures a month, we will have the healing modules. No, they're not modules, segments. I'll get the words straight sometime. The healing segments, which will also be several hours long. And we should have about 6 hours. Don't think, oh my God, I've got to go through 6 hours of that to keep up. Think of it as, wow, I am being given 6 hours to focus on healing myself in a safe environment with the other people who are willing to be real with me, willing to expose themselves, willing to go through the process with me. This is another nurturing meal. Life Force, our online video Mind, Body, Spirit program, will support me on a daily basis. All I have to do is click play, and I can do something in my body because I'm way too in my head. That really integrates the spiritual teachings and the emotional change with the body and the chi. And divine energy will come to me in that 12, 15, 20 minutes. Every day I can be nurtured by divine energy. We will have meditations online for the same purpose. These are the chief components for our initial segments of Consciousness Boot Camp, and we will get through this book and we will transform because we're doing it together, and we are here not to judge each other but to nurture one another. And the test is not what you remember in your head. It's how you feel and how you be. And we are tremendously invested in your well-being. This is why we are doing this program. And this is why we are making it available on the internet. And if you find yourself falling behind, don't panic. Redo the month. Nobody says that you have to go on to 3 if you haven't completed 2. Unless you're in the live group and you want to continue being in the live group, you can repeat. And nobody will have given you an F. And at the end of this program, we are the ones who will be getting the mark, the grade. Is how well did we deliver on this promise to offer you tools and techniques that you can use for the rest of your life, to offer you teachings and paradigms, to create healing opportunities, to help you engage. And to bring more wellness into your life, which will allow you to bring more love into our world. Thank you.